Hello everyone, welcome back. Part 2 of our iron farm build on camera. I went ahead and knocked out those cobblestone blocks and replaced them with glass. You can see it makes it relatively easy to see all those beds. If you want to make it even easier, you can go out to a 7x7 square. It takes significantly more glass to do that, but then you'll be able to very easily see pretty much all of the beds. The reason that is helpful is like I said before, sometimes those farmers don't share the food quite as efficiently as they could, and you end up not getting 20 villagers down there, but 19 or 18 or something like that. So what you can do is when night falls and all the villagers go to bed, you can just stand up here in the glass, or above the glass I should say, and see if there's somebody in every bed. Sometimes it's a little messy, sometimes they don't land neatly right in the middle of their bed, but usually it's not too hard to count and make sure that all 20 beds are full at night. It's really rather difficult to count if you try to do it during the day. Alright, one thing that you could run into when you're building an iron farm, if you make a mistake, sometimes iron golems might get spawning outside of your farm. And I have lost many hardcore characters to one of these guys because early game they are incredibly dangerous. Extremely strong for somebody who doesn't have enchanted diamond or better armor. Now, these things are relatively passive. You hit a villager in front of them, they will come after you. And if you hit them, they will come after you. And if you don't have really good armor, you might be dead before you realize what's happened. So there is a workaround. If you just put some lava next to them, they don't view that as aggressive. So when you will need one block of lava to build this iron farm anyway, you should at least have one block of lava, one source lava block on hand. Just use a bucket here to place it and pick it back up again. Don't let it flow all over creation. And just wait for them to die. And then you can get some iron too. You want to be real careful, like say that fire stops burning before they die. You listen for the sound of them hurting and watch for the motion of their hands shooting up, arms shooting up I should say. That lets you know when they've been hurt. And that means that you're, like a second away from them taking damage again. And so you can just plop that down, pick it up real quick. You watch the arm come up, down and up. That way you don't still have the lava on the ground when the iron bars and the poppies come out. Because if the lava is still on the ground at that time, it'll almost certainly burn them up. And that's just a waste. It took you some time to kill that iron golem, you might as well get something for it. Alright, I'm going to put that lava away because we don't need it quite yet. I have a little hole that I can't fall into that I have designed specifically for this. It's also a nice way to build a well that keeps the water out of the way from where you will trip on it. But more about that later. Some other video, I should say. So now the next thing we need to do, we're going to have to wait for these guys to finish breeding up. I grabbed that extra bread. We're going to throw that down there. Doesn't really matter who gets it. They're all going to be farmers. This should practically guarantee that we get 20 guys down there. 20 villagers making villagers, or I guess by the time there's 20 of them, making iron golems for us. And if we've done our homework right, there will be nowhere within 8 squares that iron golem can spawn, except, now that's 8 left, right, forward, back, and like 6 up and down, something like that. I think the actual number is 8 one way and 7 another way, and then 6 up and 6 down. But anyway, you can just measure out 8 squares to make sure. Now, since we're about to the point where we need to be worrying about that, I've got to get that out of there and fill that hole in, because that is within the area. Although an iron golem could not spawn there, it's not 3 tall. I'm going to fill it in anyway. So when we're done and there's 20 villagers down there, we're going to make sure that everything within 8 squares of this top surface comes up to at least this same level. I've already measured this distance here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You see, this is safe. It would be safe anyway because it's not wide enough for an iron golem to spawn in. They effectively need a 2 by 2 by 3 space to spawn in, or at least 2 by 2, for width and length, and then for height, at least as high as they are, which effectively is 3 blocks, but it's not quite 3 blocks. Anyway, so I measured that out earlier. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, which is why you see this dirt right here has been filled in. This corner would have been a potential spot, and eventually one would have spawned there, but I filled it in, so that shouldn't happen. And I measured out over this way as well. You can see block 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Wait, maybe I counted wrong. That's 1. But maybe I should have gone out one more. Why don't we fix that real quick? I'm just going to send it out one more just in case that was wrong. Where's my dirt? There it is. Just in case, I'll grab 2. So we're going to come out one more because technically they can be inside the walls. That's 7 by 7. So we'll go one more further out just to make absolutely sure that none spawn anywhere except where we want them to. I guess we didn't need to go quite that far. All right. And then 8 that way, we can already see that's good. Nothing but dirt, unless there's a hole in there. And if we start having trouble with iron golems not spawning, we're going to dig up that hole. Honestly, like I said, this is quick and dirty. If we want to be extra sure, what we're going to do is we're going to dig up everything within 8 blocks, every direction, all the way down to the bottom of that pit, and make sure that there is no possible place for them to spawn. That is a tremendous amount of work, and we're going to want good tools to do that. These shovels aren't quite hitting the minimum breaking speed, so we're going to want at least a diamond shovel to be doing that. One that is enchanted with unbreaking and probably at least a little efficiency, so that we can make sure that we don't have to go through 50 shovels checking all of that stuff. And anyway, it's a major pain. I would just recommend, getting the iron out of your farm as quick as you can, and once you have enough iron, building a better iron farm, and then just filling this thing in. If it ever stops spawning golems for you, this is intended to be something to catapult you past early game. You need a lot of iron to start building automated stuff like chicken farms and better iron farms, and a lot of other things. Hoppers are really important in the middle and late game. This will help you get there faster. So, all right, let's see. We could wait, but it's going to take us days and days for those guys to breed up to 20 villagers. So I'm going to show you how to lay down the next part, and we'll just show you the end results of this farm in a later video. We'll make this one a little short. Oh, look, one already spawned, as you can see. It's already starting to do its job the way it's supposed to. Maybe I don't have to put it off till a later video. Alright, so the next part can be a little tricky. Let's just leave that guy there. In fact, let's not only leave that guy there, let's wall him off so he doesn't get in our way while we're working. Because like I said, I've lost a lot of hardcore characters to accidentally hitting one of these iron golems while I'm digging up dirt or whatever. So we're going to wall this guy off so he has nowhere to go that will be in our way. Even though now that I'm thinking about that, we're going to have to do that thing that I just talked about. Dropping a lava bucket on him, because I don't want to dig up this wall I just built when he's inside of it. And then I get myself inside of it. Alright. Pick back that water up. All right, so the output end of this is going to be over here. And we are going to need a hopper and a bunch of stuff we already have in our inventory here. A hopper is made by putting a chest inside this shape of iron ingots. I'm 1 iron ingot short. Oh, it's because I don't need 5. I only need 3. Alright. And that's for the more generous build. You can do this with just 1 hopper, and I'll show you how. Alright, so we've got that. I think everything else we've already got crafted. We need a hole right here. And we're going to put a hopper in that hole, feeding that direction. A hopper will point to the block that you pointed at. So you'll see we've got that hopper pointing toward us. We can see the end of that chute there. And that's because we pointed it at that dirt block we had our cursor pointed at that dirt block that I just put down. Alright. Now we are going to have that lava block I was showing you. Let's go get that lava block. That lava source block, which we can pick up with a bucket. And we're going to need some gates. There are other ways to do this. This is the way I like to do it. And we're going to hit shift so we don't open the gate. We don't actually need a gate right there. We're going to knock that out. And we need, don't really have to do it with fence block on fence block like that, but that's what I've got in my action bar, and I don't think it's worth the trouble to try and switch it out. Alright, and then we need something to hold the lava up, which can also be, a gate block. Alright, with that down, now we can put the lava block in if we want to. But I'm going to wait. Well, there's advantages and disadvantages of putting it down right now. If I put it down right now, I have to worry about fires starting. But it also means I don't have to worry about getting it in after I've got all the fence blocks or gate blocks in place, which can also be difficult. So we're going to do it like this time. And if things catch on fire, well, we'll just fix it. Hope that doesn't fall in a fire. Good. Get up out of this hole. Put the next one on. We should be able to do this fast enough that we don't see any fires start, but if we do, we'll just put them out real quick. And I keep forgetting to switch my block that is active, or my action bar slot that is active. Alright. Now I kind of like to put, in addition to these, I kind of like to put another block in the corners here. I just realized I don't have the slabs I need for the next part. Okay, let's go make some cobblestone slabs real quick. This is how we're going to keep fire from spreading on top. I think I might have made too many there. We're going to put cobblestone slabs on top. Oh, darn it. That's not what I meant to do. Alright, we're going to put cobblestone slabs on top. There we go. Part of the reason I like to put out as many as I mentioned is because I like to have something easier to put things on top of. And the reason we're doing this is when you put down, or I should say when you have a block of lava, it checks the 3x3 space above it and the 5x5 space above that for blocks that can catch on fire. And if there are any, it will turn an air block into a fire block. Now, if there's a fire block next to one of these wood blocks, they will catch on fire, burn, be gone, and then your lava spills out and it turns into a big mess you have to clean up. So I like to fill all of those squares. The 3x3 above, that's this layer here. So I'm going to fill that square there with a gate block that I can open. Once they're open, they won't stop iron golems from passing through. I can leave these two corners here empty if I want to, because it's not going to check those blocks, it only checks above it. So that 6x6 is full. We've got the 3 gates here, and then the 2 gates there, and yes, I guess I usually turn that one too, don't I? Now I've got to carve that out, put it in, there. Alright, so now all 6 blocks are either filled with dirt or with, or I shouldn't say 6, all 9 blocks in the 3x3 above it are either filled with dirt or these gates. Be careful while you're maneuvering around, you can walk right through them too. That lava really, really hurts early game, even if you've got iron armor. If you've got iron armor and you're quick about getting out, you'll probably live. If you don't have iron armor, there's a pretty good chance you will die. Alright, good reason to keep your health full, while not just your health, but also your hunger bar full while you're working on the lava part. So this should be okay now. We should be able to let this guy out. But before we do that, we are going to put the water in place so that he flows right into that lava block the way we want him to. And before we do that, we're going to set up where the loot is going to be, the iron is going to be deposited. So if we're doing the 1 hopper variety, we're going to come down to the level of that hopper. That is 1, 2, 3, 4 down. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we're going to dig this one out, and we should see that hopper. We do. We're also going to need to dig this one out so the chest has room to open. Now, if we're doing a 1 hopper design, we're going to want to put a half slab right there so that nothing can get through, hopefully. And the reason I don't normally do this, and the reason I normally put a hopper here and a hopper here and then put the chest over there, well, I'll get to that. Here we are, getting ahead of myself. Guess maybe I'll wait to put that slab in. Might make it a little easier to get the chest down where I want it. I don't think it's going to work. Alright, we'll just dig around. Dig around, we'll put it like this, we'll be fine. And it's starting to get dark again, looks like. We'll fill that up. There will be light in this hole because of that lava in the way that we have this placed. And half slab means that that can open. That's the important part. We'd put a whole block there if we could, but if we did, then this chest wouldn't open. Now we need to get out. We'll put, I would prefer to put the ladder right here, but oh no. I've been talking and it's dark. We're going to have to fight zombies again. Alright. It's okay. We're going to hop up out of here. Hopefully we can get to bed before the zombies attack. You know, a good mod would be just a little toned sounds if you have a clock when night starts, so you know when to go to bed. Alright, good for people like me, anyway. Okay, so now we can get in and out of that hole. And just because it'll be a little neater, I'm going to do that number, and then we're going to put trapdoor right there. That way we won't fall in by accident, but we can get out real easy if we go down. So this is how we would do it with one hopper. We can see that chest from over here. And therein lies the problem. There is a small chance that when you do this one hopper method, which you might have to do, that when this guy dies, that iron ingot that you saw earlier when that other one died, that it'll not land on top of that hopper or in the water flow that'll push it into that hopper, but instead land underneath that half slab. And in that case, it won't be collected by the hopper, and that's lost efficiency. We want to avoid that as much as possible. This is, as I say, quick and dirty, so you do what you got to do. But if you happen to have a little bit more iron, like I did, or after your iron farm's been running for just a little while, you can expand the operation slightly to include 3 hoppers. So that's what we're going to do now because we have that. It will make it more efficient. Alright, so what we're going to need, in addition to those other ones, oops, I should have fixed something outside first. Okay. We need first blocks for those hoppers to point toward. This part can be just a little tricky, but alright, so we're going to come over here. And the reason I say it's tricky is I don't want to put the hopper on any of these blocks, and I don't want to put the hopper or put myself in that lava. Easiest way to manage that is probably just to dig at it from the side. And then we can point over here, where hopefully those gates won't be in the way. All we have to do is be facing that side of the block, and then it'll be pointing the right direction. If you need to test it, just toss something into it and see if it makes it to the other hopper. It does. Now we need to do the same thing with this one here. Test it again. This one's a little harder to get, but you see we can still see it. We're going to toss something in there again. See if it gets there. It did. We're in business. Alright, now we can replace those blocks we dug up. And now we need to go put the chest where that hopper connects to. I say don't ever dig down, but we know what's directly beneath. Actually, we didn't know what that block was. That was dangerous. Maybe I shouldn't have done it. Alright. So that's where the chest is going to go. We're going to have to dig up that spot. Unlike before, we can stand over here to place these chests. Let's toss something into those hoppers. Does it get through the chest? Yes, it does. Excellent. Alright, we're good. Now, if we block up this hole here, and this hole here, then there should be nothing to keep the blocks from landing in hoppers the way we want. Probably don't need that one there. That, oops, too low. Aim at the top half of the block so it goes on the right side. There we go, on the top side of the block. Alright, now we want to be extra thorough. Let's just make sure that's going into the right place. No, I forgot to put blocks in that hole too. We don't need... There. Now if we wanted, we could stick one of those half slabs here. But I think what I'm going to do instead, I'm going to put a torch there, so that this hole is well lit. There shouldn't be anything spawning in here, but just to make sure, we'll put a torch in there. Alright, now, let's see. Oops. Alright, the ladder got through. We're good. Close that hole up now. Now we're ready to turn on the farm. I'd ask for a drum roll, but just imagine one. We're going to need 2 water source blocks. Put down more or less like I showed before. That iron golem is in, there we go. Like that iron golem's in our way. Not in our way enough. Oh, that's right. We were going to kill it, weren't we? Because I don't want to take the chance. Well, he's in a hole, right? We should be okay. As long as we're careful about how we dig those blocks out from around him. Even if we hit him, he shouldn't be able to hit us. I'm just going to be careful. This is not best practice. We're going to dig out the bottom part from the safety of over here. Where we can't accidentally hit that golem. And we're going to get ourselves out. Alright, we're going to get ourselves out like this. And we're going to have to place that ladder. Now we should be able to get it out. Just be a little careful with this block right here, because he's going to flow out, probably. There he goes. Real careful with that block. They do have quite a reach. I don't know exactly how far it is, but it's too far. Works great when they're killing zombies. It's horrible when they have to kill you. Alright, so the water pushes him over into that lava block above that hopper. He burns for a while, and then when he dies, the hopper will pick up that iron that he drops faster than it has a chance to move around or get burned up by lava or whatever. So this is now fully functioning as it's supposed to be. Those 2 blocks that we put here will keep any iron golems who happen to drift in from the side or something like that from dropping their iron inside of that wall. The game will want to push it one way or the other. I'm not even sure that it would push it anywhere but other than in the direction of that hopper, because they can't spawn more than halfway inside this wall. But they could. They could, in theory, spawn halfway in this block and halfway in this block down there. In which case it should not go through 2 blocks to come out on top of the chest. It should go through 1 block to come out on top of the hopper. I might be wrong. But doing this thing with 3 hoppers where you block the tops of the 2nd and the 3rd hopper does seem to help efficiency a little bit. So here you are, quick and dirty, not too hard, doesn't require anything exotic. You don't even really need glass. But they're just going to keep breeding, and as more and more villagers get in there, iron golems will spawn more and more frequently. Quick note, something you have to take account of, the way the game decides where a village is located is by seeing where places like beds are and bells. It tries to figure out where a center place is. It will figure out the outer boundaries of a village based on any grouping of basically beds that fall within a certain range of each other, and they daisy chain. So that means if we had these 20 beds spread out every which way, that iron golem could spawn almost anywhere in that area. And if we weren't careful, we could end up with a village being, say, that one over there. We are playing in Java Edition in this game. And in Java Edition, I believe the distance between villages has to be like 30 blocks. Otherwise it will consider them one big village. In Bedrock Edition, it's much farther. I think it's 80 something. It might be 90 something. I forget. But in Java, since we're playing in Java, that's way more than 30 blocks. We're okay. I could count that. We know that 8 was the edge of that pig pen. So there's 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. We got a buffer of like 15 blocks or something. Before it gets too dark, get in bed. So you want to make sure you take that into account. You got to keep villages separated by the minimum distance required by the edition of the game that you're playing in. For Java, I'm pretty sure that's only like 30 or 32 blocks. Now we're going to have to take some care, because if there's an iron golem within like 30 blocks of this farm, the villagers might not think that there's a need for an iron golem. So we're going to have to deal with that over there, even though it's technically far enough away. If a spawned iron golem wanders over here, the iron farm might shut off. Depends partly on how many villagers there are down there and how many iron golems have been made. But worst case scenario, if like 4 iron golems from over there happen to be over here, this is going to stop spawning iron golems. And if there's one like there is right now, the rate's going to go down. So we need to get rid of that guy. And we don't have a lava block currently. I'll take care of that off camera. But so one of the next things we need to do is basically create some kind of barrier around this area here that will fence in the spawn area that this village can possibly create. It means I'm probably going to have to take out part or all of that. Well, I'm going to have to move part of that sugarcane farm. But anyway, yeah, so probably off camera I'm going to do that. We're going to put a barrier fence around that so that any iron golems that spawn where we want them to, and stay near that village so they don't interfere with this iron farm. And I may just create a collection system for the iron golems for this village over here as well that will allow me to harvest iron from both places at once. We'll see about that. Anyway, thank you all for coming. Happy to be able to fit this into 2 videos at least, not have to come back later to show you how it works, or show you that it is working. I hope you've enjoyed these 2 videos. I hope you find them useful. I hope it helps your early game go faster. And until next time, have a great one.